Nice to meet you.
I'm Andy. Hi.
Howdy,
Nice to see you too. Nice to see Andy. Yeah, Andrew, if you want to tell me off. But, yeah. Yeah.
They wrote your name as Andrew, so I just wanted
No. Of course. I guess my stage name or what? Yeah, is Andrew. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So to start, so you've got a background in acting, and from my understanding, this is your first time writing and creating a show.
That's right.
What was that transition like?
Do you know what? The teams involved, Sister, the production company, and BritBox, and everyone involved, and when I say everyone, a huge, very dedicated team, made this whole process very easy. Yeah, very creative and magical and wonderful and very easy for me. So I'm very grateful for that.
Amazing. And Winnie was talking about how the dialogue, because of your background as an actor, felt very natural, and like the actual speaking part of it felt easier. Could you talk a little bit more about writing the dialogue for this show?
I think dialogue. This isn't meant to sound. This isn't meant to sound kind of boastful or anything like that. But I feel like I can hear dialogue. I feel like I can hear it. Writing the dialogue bit was actually okay. I would say, structure-wise, actors / writers maybe need help with bits of that, sections of that along the way. But the actual dialogue, I loved. I'd happily write 60 pages of dialogue for you in the next hour. But yeah, I guess as an actor, writer, you're acutely aware that you don't want to give any character anything too two-dimensional, too thin. You want to give them some meat on the bone and a real journey to go on. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I noticed while watching the show is this feels like people who have known each other for a long time, and it's just this natural conversation that they would have, and it's not just about moving the plot forward or exposition, but it's just people who have lived together and grown up together in this town, and just how they would read each other and things that they were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. A shorthand between them. Yeah, but those are the communities that I grew up with. So I grew up in Bolton, which is near Manchester in the north of England, and the communities there's a warmth to them and a magic to them and a shorthand to the way they act and speak. And the one thing I noticed growing up was no matter how deep or dark or desperate the struggle, people flatten it with wit. They sit around fires in pubs and they have drinks, and no matter how dark the struggle, and no matter how high the stakes, they fight back with stories and with wit. So anecdotes are the antidote. So I wanted to write something along the lines of what I've grown up with. So I wanted to create a fictional Northern English community and puncture it with something obscure and unknown, something that they haven't seen before, which would detonate as much wit as possible and push their reactions to the limit.
And could you talk about that element, that surprising element that you've written into it? How did you come about the idea of having that sort of supernatural or unnatural part of it be in the story of this town?
Well, yeah, I mean, we wanted to weave it in very carefully and intricately, and it was important not to give away too much too soon. So we wanted to leave a trail of breadcrumbs as we go. So the clues are there if people watch and listen enough. But so yeah, it took a team of us, me and the development team. I've got to emphasize this is not a one-man band of a show. There's a whole team behind this who help carefully craft it and make it what it is.
Amazing. Switching gears a little bit.
There's
quite a bit of diversity in the show, and we've got a blonde female lead. We have on the police force, two females.
How famous I am?
Somebody who's from South Asian descent. We've got a Muslim family. What was it like writing those characters in there with all of these diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds?
Well, it's so important. I mean, it's high time, isn't it, that you see? I mean, it's way overdue. No, I mean, you've got to represent the society that you're seeing every day. There's no difficult answer to that. It's a very simple answer. So it's the community that I've grown up with, and it's community the whole world grows up with. So it's important to depict that on screen. But yeah, I can't emphasize enough just you have to make each character as three-dimensional as possible. You know, I was really consciously didn't want to make anyone too thin or superficial. I wanted, too thinly written, but I wanted, to give them little micro challenges or macro challenge, and push them.
And was the diversity a part of what you were, as you were writing, was that part of how you were writing these characters, or did you write the characters and then as they were being cast, kind of adjust the story?
Truthfully speaking, no, I didn't commit the ideas to the page with diversity in mind. Like I just said to you, it was just a very subconscious, these are the people. So I thought of people instead of diversity. This is the community. This is who these people are. So when I was writing Nish, when I was writing Rhea, it wasn't a conscious effort to push diversity in any way, shape, but it kind of just came naturally, I suppose.
And I think that's actually like a beautiful way to approach it as well, because then the diversity is there and those individual backgrounds are there without it being like the focus of that character.
People.
Yeah, and as a Muslim as well, like it was such a nice surprise to hear the name Mehmed on there. It was really nice to see a Muslim family and Muslim characters that weren't just written in as Muslims, but having their own journeys, having their own personalities.
Absolutely.
And also as a Muslim, that is part of their identity. That is visible and you get to see.
Sure. Yeah, well, that's kind of you to say. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Just one last question. When you wrote the series, was it always with a limited series in mind, or did you already know that it was just going to be 6 episodes, that's it? Or did you have in mind to go past that?
Always going to be limited, always 6. But yeah, just to re-emphasize that, that isn't to say that I don't have a whole journey possibly prepared in my head should the need arise.
Nice been on.
Yeah.
Also, I appreciate that there's at least 60 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, all right, great.
It's important because it feels you are able to stay with these characters for a while.
Yeah.
And it's not just like checking points like okay until the next.
Yeah.
You really get to know them and feel them.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you were able to.
That's kind. I mean, that's the benefit, isn't it, of long-form episodic television? You get to explore the minutiae of characters and people. And, yeah.
All right, I think that's all the time we have.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.